a forgotten studio recording, a young superstar, a powerful producer, and a mysterious tape that was supposedly never meant to leave that room. For years, rumors have circulated about a piece of footage recorded during one strange night inside the music industry. At first, nothing about it seemed unusual. A camera was rolling, a famous artist was in the studio, and a phone call was made to one of the biggest names in entertainment. But then people started noticing the details. Why was the camera running? Why did everyone seem so nervous? And why did the footage suddenly become a subject nobody wanted to discuss? Some believe the recording was nothing more than an awkward moment caught on camera. Others believe it captured something far more disturbing. Tonight, we're following the trail of that mysterious tape. From the studio where it allegedly began to the people who may have had a reason to keep it hidden. Back then, the music industry operated very differently. Cameras were everywhere, but not every recording was made for television. Producers filmed studio sessions, artists documented private moments, and people often carried camcorders without thinking twice about what those recordings might become years later. That is where our mystery begins. According to an old story that circulated among people connected to the fictional Houston music scene, a well-known producer had a habit of recording moments inside his studio. Sometimes it was for promotional material, sometimes it was simply for memories, but one particular recording was different. Nobody could agree on exactly what was captured. Some claimed it showed a rising female singer spending time with powerful people inside the studio. Others insisted the footage contained nothing scandalous at all. The problem was simple. Almost nobody had actually seen the complete recording. Only fragments of the story survived. Years later, those fragments began appearing online. One short clip showed the young singer sitting beside the producer while he prepared to make a phone call to a legendary superstar. The atmosphere seemed casual, but the singer appeared nervous and excited. The producer joked with her. The camera kept rolling. And then the phone call began. At first, there was nothing mysterious about it. The legendary singer greeted her. She responded politely, and everyone laughed. But viewers began replaying the footage. They focused on the producer's behavior. They questioned why the camera was recording. And most importantly, they wondered what had happened before the camera started, and what happened after it stopped. That is where the facts ended. Everything beyond that became rumor. A few people claimed there was another recording from the same period. According to the story, this second tape had been filmed somewhere in Houston and involved a famous R&B performer. The identity of the performer was never publicly established. Yet that didn't stop people from guessing. Names began circulating in underground music forums and social media discussions. Each person seemed to have a different version of the story. One claimed the tape was destroyed. Another said it was locked away by someone close to the producer. A third insisted that someone had tried to sell it privately. And then came the most dramatic version. Someone allegedly wanted to release the footage years later. But before that could happen, the tape disappeared. No verified copy surfaced. No complete footage was publicly authenticated. No reliable source established exactly who appeared in it. Still, the rumor refused to die. And that's what makes this story so fascinating. Because sometimes the most powerful rumors aren't built around what people can prove. They're built around what people can't prove. The music industry was full of stories like this. Artists became famous almost overnight. Producers gained enormous influence. Managers controlled careers. Private parties brought together people who normally never crossed paths. And behind closed doors, information became currency. If someone knew something valuable about another person, that knowledge could become leverage. That brings us to our fictional protagonist. His name was Marcus Reed. Marcus wasn't a superstar. He wasn't a manager or a producer. He was a freelance cameraman who spent years working around recording studios. He had one unusual habit. He never deleted anything. Old hard drives, mini DV tapes, forgotten memory cards. Marcus kept them all. He believed that one day someone might need something he had recorded. Most of the time, those recordings were completely ordinary. Studio sessions, interviews, backstage conversations, artists joking around. But one night, Marcus received a phone call from an old colleague named Darius. Darius sounded nervous. He asked Marcus if he still had his old archives. Marcus laughed. "Of course I do." There was a long silence. Then Darius said something that immediately changed Marcus's mood. "I think you might have something you're not supposed to have." Marcus asked what he meant. Darius wouldn't explain over the phone. Instead, he gave Marcus an address. "A storage facility on the edge of the city. Come alone," Darius said. Marcus almost ignored him, but curiosity won. When he arrived, Darius was already waiting. He looked exhausted. He handed Marcus a small cardboard box. Inside were several old tapes. Most had handwritten labels. Studio session, radio interview, Houston show. But one tape had no label at all. Marcus asked where it came from. Darius looked at him and said, "That's the problem." He claimed the tape had been discovered among equipment belonging to a producer who had died years earlier. Nobody knew who recorded it. Nobody knew exactly when it was made. And nobody knew why it had been kept. Marcus took the tape home. For several days he didn't touch it. Then one night he finally connected an old tape deck. The screen flickered. Static appeared. Then the picture came into focus. A recording studio. A young woman sitting near a producer. People laughing. Music playing in the background. Marcus leaned closer. The footage continued. Nothing immediately appeared extraordinary. Until someone walked into the room carrying a second camera. Marcus froze. Because the second camera was pointed directly toward the person holding the first one. For the first time, Marcus realized something. Someone had been filming the person filming. The recording wasn't random. It was documentation. Someone wanted a record of what was happening inside that room. And then, just before the footage cut to black, a voice could be heard saying, "Make sure nobody gets a copy of this." Marcus immediately stopped the tape. He sat in silence. He replayed the final 10 seconds. Again. And again. The voice was clear. But the identity of the speaker wasn't. Marcus knew he had a decision to make. He could destroy the tape. He could forget about it. Or he could find out who made it. He chose the third option. And that decision would eventually pull him into a story far bigger than a mysterious recording. Because the next morning, Marcus discovered something even more disturbing. Someone had already searched his apartment. Nothing valuable was missing. His camera was still there. His computer was still there. Even the cash sitting on his desk hadn't been touched. The only thing missing was the cardboard box that had contained the tapes. Marcus checked the security footage. There was no clear image of the person who entered. But at exactly 3:17 in the morning, the camera went black. And when it came back online 11 minutes later, the box was gone. Marcus finally understood. Whatever was on that tape, somebody else knew about it too. And they were willing to go looking for it. Marcus spent the next morning trying to convince himself that the missing box was a coincidence. Maybe someone had entered the apartment looking for something else. Maybe the security system had failed. Maybe the tape wasn't as important as Darius had made it sound. But one detail kept bothering him. The intruder hadn't taken his laptop. They hadn't taken his camera. They hadn't touched the cash on the table. They had taken one thing: the tapes. Marcus called Darius. No answer. He called again. Still nothing. Then he sent a message. "Someone broke into my apartment. They took the tapes." The message was delivered, but there was no reply. An hour later, Marcus received a call from an unknown number. He answered. Nobody spoke. Then a man's voice finally said, "You should stop looking." Marcus asked who was calling. The line went dead. That was the moment the mystery became personal. Marcus wasn't a journalist. He wasn't investigating a crime. He was simply a cameraman who had stumbled across an old recording. But someone clearly believed that recording mattered. He went back to the storage facility where Darius had given him the box. The door was locked. Marcus knocked. Nothing. He called the facility manager and asked whether Darius had visited that morning. The manager hesitated. Then he said something Marcus wasn't expecting. "Darius hasn't been here in 3 weeks." Marcus felt his stomach drop. 3 weeks? That couldn't be right. He had spoken to Darius the night before. Or at least someone had used Darius's phone. Marcus asked the manager to check the security cameras. They went inside the office. The footage showed Darius arriving 3 weeks earlier. He entered alone. He carried the same cardboard box. He walked toward his storage unit. and then he never appeared on camera again. Marcus stared at the screen. "Are you sure that's the last time?" The manager nodded. "That's everything." Marcus didn't know what to think. He drove home and started searching through his own archives. If the original tapes were gone, maybe he had another copy. He had spent years recording studio sessions. Sometimes he accidentally captured things in the background. He searched through hundreds of files. Nothing. Then he remembered an old external drive. It contained footage Marcus had never organized. He plugged it into his computer. Folders appeared. He opened the 2002 folder. Nothing. Then another folder caught his attention. Private. Marcus had no memory of creating it. Inside were several low-resolution video files. He opened the first. Static. The second. A backstage interview. The third. A recording from a Houston studio. Marcus immediately recognized the room. It was the same studio from the mysterious tape. His heart started beating faster. The video was recorded from a different angle. And this time, the mysterious female singer wasn't alone. Several people were inside the room. A producer, 2 musicians, a manager, and someone Marcus didn't recognize. The unknown man stood near the door. He wasn't participating in the conversation. He was watching. Marcus increased the volume. The conversation was difficult to hear. Music played loudly in the background, but every few seconds fragments became clear. The footage. Don't let anyone copy it. People upstairs already know. Marcus paused the video. He rewound it, then played it again. The phrase "people upstairs" caught his attention. Who were they? Executives? Managers? Security? Marcus didn't know. But there was another clue. Near the end of the recording, the producer walked toward the camera. He looked directly into the lens. Then he said, "Turn it off." The footage ended. Marcus sat back. For the first time, he realized that his old archive might contain more than he remembered. He searched every folder. Eventually, he found another file. This one had been created months later. The video showed a completely different studio. A man was sitting at a desk. Marcus recognized him. It was Darius. But Darius looked much younger. He was speaking to someone off camera. "I told you," Darius said. "Nobody is releasing anything." The unseen person asked. "Then where is the original?" Darius looked toward the camera. "It's gone." The other person laughed. "Nothing is ever gone." The video ended. Marcus stared at the screen. That sentence wouldn't leave his mind. Nothing is ever gone. He decided to find out who the unseen person was. There was only one way. He needed the original recording again. So Marcus began contacting former employees from the studio. Most refused to talk. Some didn't remember anything. a logo from a private security company. Marcus searched the company's history. The company no longer existed, but an archived article revealed that it had been investigated years earlier for destroying surveillance records connected to a celebrity event. Marcus stared at the screen. The pieces were beginning to connect, but he still didn't know the most important thing. What had actually been on the missing tape? That answer came from an unexpected source. 2 days later, Marcus received an envelope. No return address. Inside was a single photograph. It showed the mysterious studio. On the back, someone had written, "You're looking at the wrong night." Marcus turned the photograph over again. There was one more line. "Find the recording from 6 months earlier." Marcus immediately understood. The tape everyone had been talking about might not have been the original mystery. It might have been a distraction. Someone had wanted everyone to focus on one recording while another, much earlier recording contained the real secret. Marcus checked his archive again, and this time he found something. A file dated exactly 6 months before the studio footage. Its name was nothing more than 4 numbers. Marcus pressed play. The screen went black. Then a voice whispered, "Nobody is supposed to know we're here." A door opened. The camera moved forward, and somewhere in the darkness, someone began to laugh. Marcus froze, because he recognized that laugh. It belonged to Darius. But Darius was supposedly nowhere near that studio that night. And suddenly, Marcus realized the biggest mystery wasn't who stole the tape. It was why Darius had lied about where the tape came from in the first place. Marcus watched the final recording 3 times. Each time he noticed something different. The video was dark and unstable. Whoever filmed it had tried to keep the camera hidden. Most of the room was impossible to see, but the voices were clear enough to understand that several people were inside. Then the camera moved. For less than 2 seconds, a wall appeared in the frame. Marcus paused the video. There was a logo on it. A production company. The same company connected to the hotel meeting Leon had described. Marcus searched the company's archived records. The company had shut down years earlier, but one executive was still alive. A man named Victor Hale. Marcus found an old phone number. He called. A woman answered. Marcus asked for Victor. There was a pause. Then she said, "Who is this?" Marcus gave his name. The line went silent. Finally, Victor came on. Marcus didn't mention the tape. He simply asked about the old studio. Victor laughed. That was a lifetime ago. Marcus asked if he remembered Darius. The laughter stopped. Why are you asking about him? Because he gave me a tape. Victor didn't respond. Marcus continued. And someone broke into my apartment and stole it. Victor finally spoke. Then you should forget you ever saw it. The call ended. Marcus knew then that he was close. He contacted Leon again. This time Leon refused to meet. Marcus sent him a screenshot from the recording. Within minutes, Leon replied, "Where did you get that?" Marcus answered, "You already know." Leon called immediately. His voice was shaking. There was never supposed to be a copy. Marcus asked what he meant. Leon explained that the original recording had been created during a private meeting. It wasn't a celebrity party. It wasn't an escort session. And it wasn't a secret performance. It was a meeting about controlling unreleased material. People in the room were discussing contracts, recordings, and private footage that could potentially embarrass several artists. The mysterious female singer wasn't the central subject. That was the part everyone online had gotten wrong. She had simply been present in the larger studio environment. The rumor had grown because people connected unrelated footage to a completely different recording. Marcus asked Leon why everyone had allowed the rumor to continue. Leon answered, "Because rumors are easier to control than facts." Marcus didn't understand. Leon explained, if people were busy arguing about a famous singer, they wouldn't investigate the people who actually controlled the recordings. The celebrity became the distraction. The tape became the mystery. And the people behind the operation disappeared into the background. Marcus asked, "Then what was on the original?" Leon hesitated. Proof that someone was buying and destroying recordings. Marcus felt his stomach tighten. So it wasn't a sex tape? Not according to anything I ever saw. That changed the entire story. The sensational rumors had transformed a complicated industry scandal into something much simpler and much darker. A celebrity scandal, a supposed secret relationship, a mysterious tape. But the actual story was about power. Who owned recordings? Who could make them disappear? Who could threaten someone's career? And who benefited when the truth became buried beneath rumors? Marcus returned to his archive. He opened the 0317 file again. This time he listened instead of watching. At approximately 11 minutes into the recording, someone mentioned a storage facility. Marcus stopped. He rewound the audio. The address was difficult to hear, but he recognized part of it. It was the same facility where Darius had given him the cardboard box. Marcus drove there immediately. The manager was still working. Marcus asked whether another person had rented a unit under Darius's name. The manager checked the records. Then his expression changed. There is another unit. Marcus asked who rented it. The manager gave him a name. Victor Hale. Marcus felt a cold rush. Victor had told him he hadn't seen the old material in years. But he had rented a storage unit at the exact location where Darius had given Marcus the tapes. Marcus asked to see it. The manager refused without legal authorization. So Marcus left. But he didn't go home. Instead, he waited across the street. 2 hours passed. Then a black SUV arrived. Victor stepped out. Marcus watched as he entered the facility. 20 minutes later, Victor came back carrying a small black case. Marcus followed him. The SUV drove across the city and stopped outside an abandoned office building. Victor entered. Marcus waited. Then he saw another person arrive. Darius. Marcus couldn't believe it. Darius was alive, and he had been working with Victor. Marcus called him. Darius answered. Where are you? Marcus looked at the building. Where are you? Darius didn't answer. Marcus said, I know. Silence. Then Darius whispered, leave. Marcus asked why. Because you don't understand what you're involved in. Marcus watched Victor disappear through the building's entrance. What is in the case? Darius replied, the original. Marcus's heart raced. The original what? The recording. Marcus asked why Darius had lied to him. Darius finally explained. He had wanted someone outside the industry to preserve a copy. But once the people who controlled the material discovered that Marcus had it, everything changed. The break-in wasn't random. The phone call wasn't random. The warning wasn't random. Someone was trying to scare Marcus into surrendering the footage. Marcus asked Darius who. Darius refused to give a name. Instead he said, there's one thing you need to understand. The tape doesn't prove what everyone thinks it proves. Marcus asked, then what does it prove? Darius paused. That people were willing to pay enormous amounts of money to control information. That was the truth Marcus had been searching for. The mysterious tape wasn't evidence of some secret sexual life belonging to a celebrity. It was evidence of something more ordinary, and potentially more damaging. A network of people who understood that private footage could be turned into leverage. The next morning, Marcus contacted an investigative journalist. He handed over the copies he had saved. Not the sensational rumors. Not anonymous accusations. The actual recordings. The journalist spent several weeks verifying dates, voices, locations, and ownership records. Eventually, a story was published. It didn't mention the celebrity rumors that had made the tape famous online. Instead, it exposed something much more complicated. A network of entertainment insiders had allegedly spent years purchasing, suppressing, and controlling unauthorized recordings of artists. Some recordings were harmless. Others were embarrassing. And some may have contained material that people desperately wanted to keep private. The story spread. But Marcus refused to become the center of it. He gave one interview. The interviewer asked him, do you believe the original rumors were true? Marcus thought for a moment. No. Why? Because I watched people take a few seconds of real footage and build an entire story around it. He continued. People wanted a scandal. They didn't want an investigation. That became the most important lesson of the entire case. A video can be real. A voice can be real. A photograph can be real. And yet the story built around them can still be completely wrong. Months later, Marcus received one final package. There was no address. Inside was a single USB drive and a handwritten note. You found the story they wanted you to find. Marcus plugged in the drive. There was only one video. The footage showed Victor and Darius sitting in the abandoned office. Victor looked directly toward the camera. Then he said, "People will believe whatever story sounds the most exciting." Darius looked at him. "And if they don't?" Victor smiled. "Give them another story." The screen went black. Marcus never discovered who had sent the USB drive. But by then, he understood something. The most dangerous part of a leaked tape story isn't always the recording. Sometimes it's the story people build around it. Because once a rumor becomes entertainment, facts become secondary. And somewhere between the real footage, the missing evidence, and the endless speculation, the truth can disappear completely. So what do you think? Was the mysterious tape ever really about the celebrity scandal people claimed? Or was the entire rumor designed to distract everyone from something much bigger? One thing is clear. A few seconds of real footage can create an entire story when people fill the missing pieces with assumptions. And that's exactly why this case is so difficult to understand. If you enjoyed this mystery, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next investigation. And tell us in the comments, would you have released the tape if you discovered it? Or would you have destroyed it and walked away? Because sometimes the biggest mystery isn't what the recording shows. It's who wanted you to believe the story surrounding it. We'll see you in the next one.